Hey guys, Venomous here, and I got a brand new OTGT for you. Now, today I'm talking about something that kind of applies to all big, real big game conventions, okay? Here's what I mean, okay? Tokyo Game Show just recently passed about a week and a half ago, or last weekend, something like that, okay? It just recently passed not too long ago, okay? And this was a really good show, to be honest with you, okay? Here's why. One of the interesting things about this show that set it apart from all the other game shows, kind of like Gamescom, PAX, and E3, what really set it apart was that there were some actual like announcements that nobody knew about. There was this element of surprise that happened that caught everybody off guard and got everybody really excited for the upcoming year for video games, okay? This is something you hardly ever see anymore, and you haven't really seen it in a lot of different conventions aside from Tokyo Game Show for like the past couple of years, okay? With something that's like as big as something like E3, you would expect with it being such a huge convention or an actual, huge event for video games, there would be more kind of like announcements that are really, only shown or announced to the public and everybody only knows about it at that moment and not prior to it. There is no real, like, there's leaks, but there's no real like excess of information about the particular thing that kind of ruins the announcement, you know. And my perfect example, at least for this year's TGS, was the announcement of Tekken Tag Tournament 2, okay? Here's why. Nobody thought that game was coming at all, okay? What everybody initially thought was going to happen, me, myself included, was that Namco was going to announce more stuff about Tekken X Street Fighter, or Capcom was going to announce more stuff about Street Fighter X Tekken, okay? Which everybody, is really hyped up about because they're interested to see what's going on with these two games between the two companies, okay? Now, with that being said, everybody went in expecting something like that, and we got totally turned on our heads when they showed us Tekken Tag Tournament 2. And since a lot of us out there, especially us fighting game fans and Tekken fans out there that are huge fans of the actual game, that was back on the PS2 and fans of the franchise, really went nuts over it and got us really hyped up about it. Yes, that's true. We didn't get the announcements we were expecting, but we got something totally different and totally out there. Okay, that's something that's cool, and announcements like that happen at such big gaming events, okay, is really interesting and something that's really good for the industry because, it gets people really excited for the upcoming year and it gets people more enticed to actually buy a product, for the upcoming year. Anyway, besides that, another perfect example, which this did happen at E3, but it really didn't get the credit that it was really given, aside from all the other stuff, because everybody was paying attention to Microsoft's Kinect, or Project Natal, quote unquote, and the Sony Move, which, as bad failures as those are, from the looks of it, okay, that's what everybody was talking about at one point. But one of the announcements that was pretty much, kind of went under the radar that nobody really knew about was the announcement of the new Twisted Metal that's supposedly coming out, okay? Now, that's interesting because a lot of people, including myself, love Twisted Metal. Okay, it's a franchise that we felt at one point really needed a reboot or a sequel that people were waiting on for such a long time. We weren't waiting as long as nearly for something like Duke Nukem Forever, but we were waiting long enough for something, to go beyond that. Okay, and it was good, but what really kind of killed it is because it kind of got overshadowed by all this other stuff that was going on, and it's something that really should have gone much more into the spotlight because, like I said, this is something that nobody really knew about, and people should have been talking about this. Okay, my main point is this. Some of the best stuff about a lot of these different game gatherings or different conventions, such as E3, Gamescom, PAX, and Tokyo Game Show, really need much more of that element of surprise for actual, for certain like announcements and for certain products that even though we might have an inkling about it, that it's coming, but we need to be surprised as customers, as gamers, we need to be surprised, okay? It's kind of sad that pretty much, for example, when the Sony's PSP Go was pretty much in the works, everybody knew about this almost a year and a half in advance. And then come the time when it was actually revealed in, at E3, at Sony's, press conference, everybody already knew about it, and everybody knew everything that what they were going to talk about, and nobody cared. Okay, they wanted something new, and we didn't get that because it was all the stuff that pretty much we knew about. And it was kind of funny, too, when Jack Trent, I believe it was, came out and it was talking about, he kind of made a little kind of like nod or joke to it, the whole idea that leaks were going on all over the place, which, as funny as it is very true and it kind of sucks. Okay, so overall, more surprises are much more appreciated at these different gaming events. Okay, let's hope that hopefully, these different game companies, like big companies like the big three, Sony, Nintendo, Microsoft, actually get their stuff together and realize this and actually do a better job to actually keep leaks from getting out and stuff like that. Okay, because I love being surprised at E3, and I loved being surprised at what is it, Tokyo Game Show this year with all the stuff that they had that I didn't know about. Okay, anyway, that's just my whole opinion on the matter. Leave your comments and video responses, guys. I don't mind. Just keep it civil. Let me know about what you guys think. If you guys were surprised at like Tekken Tag Tournament 2 or Twisted Metal or anything else at this year's Tokyo's Game Show or E3, whatever, talk about it. Leave it on there, and I'll talk to you guys again soon. Venomous is out, and that was only the goddamn truth. Talk to y'all later, people.